Sean, welcome back to my channel. If I cough, sniff, or sneeze, please forgive me. Getting over the winter cold. Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. The time is 6:18 in the a.m. Pacific time. Wherever you are, hopefully you are having a great day, or you had a good day. If you're working graveyards, morning is almost over, or it's been over, depending on where you are. Don't concentrate on the video, just concentrate on the audio today. I got about like 15 to 20 minutes of information to cover. So let's begin. Well, actually, where do we begin? So, I've been on Instagram lately. I'm under the handle of the Firearms Trainer. And I've been seeing some really interesting posts and videos. There was a training company there is a training company that's offering training to law enforcement to help them on their qualifications at their department. So in police work, just depending on the state that you're in, right? California requires, actually, I don't want to talk on that because I don't know if I think it's once a year or twice a year. California Peace Officer Standards of Training Post requires law enforcement officers, peace officers in particular, to qualify at the range. I think it's once. Yeah, I'm not sure. Where I worked at, traditionally, it's 4 times a year. They do up the standards, which is great. Now, some police officers have problems qualifying at the range. They've had crappy instructors their whole career or in the academy, and they're trying to reintroduce those unfundamentals that they were taught, and they're having difficulties. They're still having difficulties. If they don't qualify, they're going to be a desk cop, right? So what some of them do is they end up reaching out to training companies in their local area that will help them qualify. And quite honestly, I really think that's a sad thing, especially if you work in a large law enforcement agency and you have firearms cadre that are competent, especially the large ones, right? You should be able to walk into the training division's office, talk to the supervisor or lead instructor who's possibly there full time, and say, hey, I'm having difficulty at the range, every single qualification. Is there any way that I can get additional practice? And you take that practice, whether you're compensated or not, whether you got to pay for your own bullets or not. You take that additional practice, considering that it's taught by a competent instructor. That's what you normally do. But you normally don't reach out to a security company to help you train for qualifications, or to help you shoot at the police academy, a corrections academy, a state troopers academy, right? You normally don't do that, but it's not a bad idea that if you do have crappy instructors, to reach out to private training firms. So I look up this company, and I'm not going to mention on YouTube. If they start putting me on blast, they're not, right? Then that's a topic, a whole different story. But they're offering training to law enforcement, and they state that their credentials are like they're law enforcement officers, but I don't see any law enforcement type of training, right? I just see terrible teaching tactics. For example, they're walking down the line. Actually, they're touching the officer's shoulders, and they are guiding them towards the firing line, where there's a set of like 7 targets, and then they got to zigzag and shoot each individual target, like at least once. But the instructor, and it looks, I swear, man, it looks kind of creepy, right? You got these females that are being walked on the line by this dude that's holding the back of their arms and like guiding them like they are like they're a part of the ride, right? Like he's a car, she's a car and he's in back of her, and he's kind of bumping her to show her where to shoot. In a real life situation at the range, your instructors, they might tap you on the back, they might guide you forward or backwards, but I've never seen anything so interesting where the instructor is physically grabbing the female instructor from behind, like they're both playing a game of cars, and they're doing this, right? That doesn't make any sense. And if this student is having difficulty qualifying at the range, she should not be shooting at 7 to 10 different targets on the range at once. How about we break down the fundamentals and we teach the student to shoot at 3 yards. Like we bring her to 3 yards, right? And then we start bringing her back. Bringing her farther away. That's what we're supposed to do as firearms instructors, but they're doing these interesting maneuvers and showing it on Instagram. And I think that this organization truly believes that this is the way. And they're not posting any of their credentials, which is not suspicious. I know some really reputable instructors that do not post their credentials, but we know them already, right? Or the credential might be, hey, I am a USPA Grandmaster. Enough said. Enough said. Now, obviously, we want to know if you can teach, right? Just because you're a Grandmaster at USPA does not mean that you are a good teacher, right? We want to know, right? But there's not posting of any credentials, and the alarm signal is we teach law enforcement and security. So, guys, please vet your instructors. Please vet your instructors. Please, please, please do. Looks like we got some people in the house. Olivia and Professional Security Journal. I don't know about this one, Mike. Anyhow. Okay, so moving towards private security, backing up law enforcement. Now, I posted a picture of a Las Vegas security firm. This video is not about them. I'm not even going to mention them by name because I forgot the name of the company. It's International Protective. I don't know. I always forget. But the name isn't important. I use the thumbnail because they got a lot of good thumbnails, right? So that's the only reason why you see them on the thumbnail. Maybe you click because you recognize the company. So the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because I've seen a lot of social media posts with security officers backing up law enforcement, and then security advertising that they work hand in hand with law enforcement to combat crime, so on and so forth. It is kind of interesting that I see this security guard on the bottom floor, and then it looks like a SWAT operator or a member of a tactical team clearing an abandoned apartment. What is the role of the security officer on the bottom? I don't know. Maybe the SWAT commander says, hey, you know what? I'm going to rely on International Protective Force, whatever the name of the security company is. I'm going to rely on them on helping us establish a perimeter. They're tactically sound, and we have good relations with them. I don't know some people might be laughing. I don't know what the dialogue was. Maybe they're just there. I don't know. In other videos, I see security companies, for example, Newton Patrol, right? Newton Patrol, they blocked me. And I thought I was having a good conversation with them, having an open dialogue with them, even inviting them to training. And they just didn't want to dialogue. All I want to do is communicate, right? There's nothing nefarious here, but I got blocked. But what I want to know is, why are they at all of these traffic collision calls, right? Why do they just seem to always be there? And it's not even on private property. So I really would like to know from the CEO, and I have a lot of other more questions, but again, I'm blocked from that channel. How do I know that I'm blocked? Because I don't see any of their posts, and my intel from Instagram and social media is able to review all their photos. But anyhow, I see them constantly at traffic collision scenes. My take on that is, hey, if you want to help, then help. Being in law enforcement, if there's a crash and I'm in danger of being struck, if there's a security company that's willing to block traffic, that knows what they're doing, I'm not gonna have them kick rocks. As long as they know what they're doing, hey, thank you very much for staying here. I mean, that's just me. But I see that some security companies could get in the way. For example, like, I don't know, maybe somebody directing... Actually, a perfect example is the crossing guards that direct traffic in front of my kid's school, right? As a crossing guard, you're not really supposed to be directing traffic. There's training for that. You're supposed to be crossing kids, right? Not directing traffic. Crossing them across the street safely, but not directing traffic. There's that crossing guard, and there's multiple of them. They keep encouraging crashes. So they'll tell me to go, and then they'll tell another person to go too. So I've been in almost like 3 small collisions because of that crossing guard that doesn't know what she's doing. And then there's a guy there that also doesn't know what he's doing, and he's on his cell phone. Actually, the lady's on her cell phone all the time. They're directing traffic with the cell phone on, and they're nearly causing collisions every single time. So there's specific training in that. For me, like, nobody trained me on how to do traffic control. You just kind of learn on the job by almost getting ran over a couple times. I think you kind of pick it up. But it is kind of an art, right? As long as the security officer is directing traffic safely, I have absolutely no problem with the help. Now, if I'm serving a search warrant, or I'm doing some type of high-risk entry as a law enforcement officer, I don't want private security in my stack. And I've seen this in multiple social media videos and posts where a security officer joins in on the stack of a law enforcement officer that's either doing a felony stop or high-risk stop, or doing some type of high-risk entry. They just put themselves in the stack, right? I would say absolutely no to that, for one huge reason. Most of the time, private security does not train with law enforcement. Most of the time. But in my small training group, or my close group of friends, I do have non-law enforcement guys that I would bring in any stack in any house and bet my life that that person will back me up. And that person probably has better capabilities than I do, right? Better skills. There are those that exist, and unfortunately, they are in my smaller circle of friends, and they're hard to find. But in a general consensus, state security does not train with law enforcement to do high-risk entries. Now, you might be saying, hey, Sean, I went to Alert in, I don't know, maybe Texas, and we train hand-in-hand with law enforcement. And Alert is basically your advanced law enforcement advanced rapid response training. I always mess up that. For some reason, I can't remember acronyms, right? And security and law enforcement, they train hand-to-hand, right? Well, how many times a year do they practice this joint training effort? How many times a year, right? Now, a 2-day or even a 1-day Alert class I think it's 2 days, is very good training, right? But if I'm serving a search warrant, if I'm a police officer serving a search warrant, I'm responding to a domestic violence situation, alert doesn't teach you how to handle those. They don't teach you basically how to work as a tactical entry team serving search warrants, right? So I want my team. Now, unfortunately, the guys that I work with are still developing their skills, and I rather have my tactical team with me all the time, but that's not the reality of the situation. But if a random security officer joined in our stack, I would really question that. Now, if it's an active attack situation, right, at a school or business, and we got casualties, I am 100% going to invite this armed private security officer with me, for sure. For sure. If, let's just say, I get an unarmed guard that rolls up at a mall where I'm a law enforcement officer and says, hey, former war on terror veteran, I've been to hell and back. I don't have a weapon. Can I help? Hey, I will go to my car and grab Billy the shotgun, load him up, here you go. If we have an active attack incident. And by the way, I am bestowed upon the powers of being a California law enforcement officer. I am deputizing you as a peace officer at this point in time to form a posse. Something like that, right? And in California, and I think of a lot of other states, you can deputize a private citizen. So in that moment, yes, I would invite a private security officer in that mission, right? Even if, now, and I would have him help me out clearing the rooms. Now, if I had a security officer that had no experience, that just wants to help, I will absolutely put them to work. Hey, I'm going to need you on perimeter control. This is the safest area I can put you. Make sure that no cars come here. Or, hey, right here is going to be the staging point. Like down that street is going to be a staging point for, or rally point for EMS. I want you to man that command center right there, that staging point, and just have them wait there, right? Hey, I have a partner that's my security supervisor's on his way. He's gonna help. He wants to help out too. Okay, awesome. So we'll do this. You stay here, which is the safest place I can put you. Your supervisor go all the way over there 2 blocks away, or down the street where we're gonna have a staging post or a staging area, and your supervisor can wait with EMS over there. Just wait for any word from us. Stay put. You got it. Thank you. Something to that effect, right? That's how you can put private security to use. But guys, it's really it's really irritating to see these security companies marketing that they're working hand in hand in law enforcement, when the reality is they're just in the picture. Now, are there security companies that work hand in hand with law enforcement? Absolutely, and they have a good partnership. Those companies usually have like monthly meetings with the command staff for a law enforcement agency, with business leaders. I mean, they're functioning as a quasi-private public law enforcement agency, and there's a dime a dozen out there that correctly advertise that they do work hand in hand with law enforcement. So that's all I got. Some people think like I just make videos to make videos. I really don't. If there's some type of issue out there, then we'll do a video. But what I want to hear from you guys. And if you have a YouTube security channel, guys, we want to hear from you. Okay. If you're interested, there's a security company. They're just barely getting licensed. They're going to be based out of California, and they got some pretty high-level operators that come from the military and government. Very useful insight. I listened to one of their podcasts. couple days ago, and they want to know if I can host a podcast. So I definitely want to do that, and I definitely want to know if you guys are interested. They're breaking the security market in California. They are going to concentrate more on, I think they call them like high value targets. I'm sorry, high value net worth individuals, something like that. That term just bothers the freak out of me. I think that everybody's life actually matters, but that's how they refer to, I guess, their clientele. At the very least, I do like the way that they do it, how they narrow their clientele down. Like, we have no question on who they're servicing or who the target clients are. So I definitely want to interview them, and maybe we can talk tactics. I don't even know where to start right now, but we'll come up with something interesting. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. If you guys have any suggestions for content, please let me know in the comment section box below. If you do work hand-in-hand with law enforcement, let us know, what exactly do you do? Maybe send us some links. How do you actually do this, right? And if you serve search warrants with SWAT teams, with like LAPD, Metro, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, SEB, the NYPD, is it EMS, Emergency Services Unit, the ESU. Let me know if you help them breach doors, you throw flashbangs, you have launcher systems available. Let us know. Let us know. Give us more. Definitely give us more information. All right, guys, I'm out. Take care.